Our chapter for Monday, August 25th is Numbers chapter 35. The Lord again spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab, by the Jordan across from Jericho. Command the Israelites to give cities out of their hereditary property for the Levites to live in, and pasture land around the cities. The cities will be for them to live in, and their pasture lands will be for their herds, flocks, and all their other animals. The pasture lands of the cities you are to give the Levites will extend from the city wall 500 yards on every side. Measure 1,000 yards outside the city for the east side, 1,000 yards for the south side, 1,000 yards for the west side, and 1,000 yards for the north side, with the city in the center. This will belong to them as pasture lands for the cities. The cities you give the Levites will include 6 cities of refuge, which you will provide, so that the one who kills someone may flee there. In addition to these, give 42 other cities. The total number of cities you give the Levites will be 48, along with their pasture lands. Of the cities that you give from the Israelites' territory, you should take more from a larger tribe and less from a smaller one. Each tribe is to give some of its cities to the Levites in proportion to the inheritance it receives. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, designate cities to serve as cities of refuge for you, so that a person who kills someone unintentionally may flee there. You who have the cities as a refuge from the avengers, you will have the cities as a refuge from the avenger, so that the one who kills someone will not die until he stands trial before the assembly. The cities you select will be your 6 cities of refuge. Select 3 cities across the Jordan and 3 cities in the land of Canaan to be cities of refuge. These 6 cities will serve as a refuge for the Israelites and for the alien or temporary resident among them, so that anyone who kills a person unintentionally may flee there. If anyone strikes a person with an iron object and death results, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. If anyone has in his hand a stone capable of causing death and strikes another person and he dies, the murderer must be put to death. If anyone has in his hand a wooden object capable of causing death and strikes another person and he dies, the murderer must be put to death. The avenger of blood himself is to kill the murderer. When he finds him, he is to kill him. Likewise, if anyone in hatred pushes a person or throws an object at him with malicious intent, and he dies, or if in hostility he strikes him with his hand and he dies, the one who struck him must be put to death. He is a murderer. The avenger of blood is to kill the murderer when he finds him. But if anyone suddenly pushes a person without hostility, or throws any object at him without malicious intent or without looking, drops a stone that could kill a person, and he dies, but he was not his enemy and didn't intend to harm him, the assembly is to judge between the person who kills someone and the avenger of blood according to these ordinances. The assembly is to protect the one who kills someone from the avenger of blood. Then the avenger will return him to the city of refuge he fled to, and he must live there until the death of the high priest, who was anointed with the holy oil. If the one who kills someone ever goes outside the border of the city of refuge he fled to, and the avenger of blood finds him outside the border of his city of refuge and kills him, the avenger will not be guilty of bloodshed, for the one who killed the person was supposed to live in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. Only after the death of the high priest may the one who has killed a person return to the land he possesses. These instructions will be a statutory ordinance for you throughout your generations wherever you live. If anyone kills a person, the murderer is to be put to death based on the word of witnesses, but no one is to be put to death based on the testimony of one witness. You are not to accept a ransom for the life of someone who is guilty of murder. He must be put to death. Neither should you accept a ransom for the person who flees to the city of refuge, allowing him to return and live in the land before the death of the high priest. Do not defile the land where you live, for bloodshed defiles the land, and there can be no atonement for the land because of the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of the person who shed it. Do not make the land unclean where you live and where I dwell, for I, the Lord, reside among the Israelites. Numbers 35, an interesting chapter dealing with the description of the cities of refuge, 6 cities, 3 on one side of the Jordan, 3 on the other, where if a person unintentionally kills someone, they could flee, where a court could be also taken up and they could figure out if the person's not guilty, but he has to stay there till the high priest, till that current high priest dies. Interesting situation. We've got nothing quite like that in our days. There are quite some interesting chapters in this. Tomorrow we wrap up Numbers. I mentioned a few days ago how hard it's been for me recently. And I'm making some announcements here at the end of the chapter. I think I want to make this my pattern. If I say anything, save it till the end after I've read the chapter. That way, those of you who would like, you can just depart and not listen to any of my rambling. But I mentioned a few days ago how difficult a time I'm having recently. My dad just passed away a little over 2 months ago. It's been a hard year. When the year started, I knew he had some health issues, but really didn't know at that point that we were going to lose him this year in the first half of the year. And it was hard. As he got sick, as we got into March, and we started having him in hospitals, it was a matter of 3 months from when we basically took him to the hospital to the point he died. It was fast. So it was, in some ways it was good. It wasn't extended years of taking care of him. It also wasn't a sudden thing, such as a vehicle accident or a sudden heart attack. We could see his demise. The 3 months made it both. It allowed us to say some goodbyes, but it also didn't tax us for years with taking care of people. And I know people that have had to do both. People that have taken care of parents for years or even a decade. I also have an acquaintance whose father just had a heart attack recently within the last month. His dad was healthy as far as he knew and had a heart attack and passed away. I don't envy either situation. Honestly, I don't envy any situation. Mine was easier in that respect, that we had some time to say goodbye. I say all that again because it's just over 2 months, and what's coming up in a week is his birthday, and so I've been struggling this last half of August. It's been hard for me. The way God built me, my emotions are just under the surface. For a lot of times I can seem like, if you're into Star Trek, I can come off like Data or Mr. Spock. I can seem very left brain and unemotional. But when I am touched, my emotions are not very deep, and I have a hard time controlling them at times. So it's been a hard half month. So any of you that watch this and are blessed by it, I covet prayers, especially for the next week. It doesn't have to be much. You can just say 5 or 10 seconds and just ask the Lord to bless me and keep me at peace and comfort. My pastor prayed for me today as I told him how difficult my week has been. But I'm thankful for this outlet. I'm thankful for you who are watching this. I continue to pray that this is a blessing. And as we read through the Bible in 3 years, I started this on January 1st, so 2025, 2026, 2027, we'll wrap it up. But I'd like to keep this thing going forever, and just hopefully it grows. I don't have a pipe dream that I'm going to have millions of viewers or even thousands of viewers. It's very plain what I'm doing. Anyone can take a Bible, the Bible app by YouVersion. I mean, that's actually where I get the plan from that I'm using. You can take that and hit the audio and have a clear reading from someone who reads it clearly and without mistakes. So what I'm doing is there's so many avenues that to me it's somewhat shocking that anybody watches this. But I'm thankful for all of you. I've done a couple book reviews. I'd like to do some more. I've read another 3-4 books since the last book review I've done. Probably let a little too much time slide by to give good reviews, but the reviews I've done have been 15 minutes, and kind of, I just have made them up on the fly as I go. But I've got some good books I've read. I wouldn't mind bringing them to people's attention. I encourage people to read. Encourage people to read more than they spend time on social media. And reading blurbs and tweets and all that, reading a good book is so much better. So thank you for sticking with me today for Numbers 35. Thank you for those of you who've stuck for my rambling for these last few minutes. Tomorrow, we'll wrap up Numbers. The day after that, we'll wrap up Philippians. So we're going to wrap up 2 books in 2 days. And I hope you have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow.